Hey everyone. Okay, so as promised in the short that I just published, I am replying to the comment in depth, and I'll also be reading you the full comment because on my short you can't really see the full comment. So just give me a second. So the comment is from Rich Dodd, and it says, with the evidence the German police have on Christian Bruckner, why are people still going down this narrative? Jerry and Kate didn't kill her. This is not to say the parents didn't do a lot wrong. They certainly are guilty of neglect. The German police know exactly how, when, and where she died. Will they ever be able to prove it? The investigation is still ongoing. The most telling fact is the lead investigator was quoted saying if they can't convict Christian, they will close the case as he did it. We should see Jerry and Kate in cuffs for neglect. They did not take enough steps to ensure the child's safety. Open door, street access. I do not agree at all with these excuses. A parent's job is to protect their children. Okay, let me break down this comment. With the evidence the German police have on Christian B, why are people still going down this narrative? Jerry and Kate didn't kill her. Right. I respect everybody's opinions on this channel as long as they are respectful, and thank you for your comment. It's very respectful, but with all due respect, I have to disagree with you. Why? Because what evidence would the German police have on Christian Bruckner in connection to the Madeleine McCann's disappearance? Please comment and let me know what evidence do they have. They don't have any evidence to connect Christian Bruckner to Madeleine McCann's disappearance. Just because Christian Bruckner is going through a trial in court and they keep on talking about Madeleine McCann, it doesn't mean that he's linked to the Madeleine McCann's disappearance. It's just because the prosecutors, they are just trying to link him somehow so that they have something to accuse him of. But that does not mean that he killed Madeleine McCann. And the reason why a lot of people, including myself, are going down this narrative is because there is evidence in apartment 5A that something horrible happened there, including the blood spots on the walls. So please enlighten me. How would you explain that? Did Christian Bruckner go in there and because of him, the blood spots are over there? Did he have enough time? Realistically, did he? Out of all the children that he could have targeted, did he really target a British family on holiday, not knowing anything else? I don't see how that's doable, you know? Then Jerry and Kate didn't kill her. That is your opinion, that they didn't kill her. My opinion is, and a lot of other people's opinion is, that according to all of the information that we have from the PG files, from Gonzalo Amaral's book, from the Portuguese investigation, the conclusion would lead to Jerry and or Kate being involved in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann, including the dog's evidence, which a lot of people disregard because there are a lot of stories that dogs are not reliable and blah blah and so on and so forth. A narrative which Jerry made sure to share all over the place from the beginning of this investigation, from the beginning of Madeleine McCann's disappearance. Another thing is, the German police, they've only recently got involved in Christian Bruckner's investigation, and one of their main things about Christian Bruckner and the way to kind of try and stick accusations against him so that they can win in court was to go after the narrative of Madeleine McCann. And when I mention very recently, I am saying in the last couple of years. The German police, they had absolutely nothing to do with Madeleine McCann's disappearance. Firstly, because Madeleine McCann's disappearance happened in 2007. Secondly, because Madeleine's disappearance was in Portugal. And third, being in Portugal, the Portuguese police, they had to handle the missing persons investigation, Madeleine McCann's investigation, or Madeleine McCann's disappearance. So the German police, they have absolutely nothing to do with the Madeleine McCann case. If you know at all how the legal system works, if you know at all these true crime cases that are online, if you watch at all any true crime cases, then probably by now you would have realized that normally when a crime happens in a country, the police of that country deals with the investigation firstly, unless of course for other kind of reasons the other country where the person is from is getting involved in the investigation. And when I say for all sorts of reasons, I mean either, you know, the embassy getting involved, either political pressure, but normally when the embassy or the consulate is getting involved legally, they must follow the law in that country. So I would rather lean towards the political interference here. But that's my opinion and a lot of other people's opinions who are following me on this channel. Then, Jerry and Kate didn't kill her. Like I said previously, a lot of things point to that very fact. Well, not fact, I'm not going to say it fact, to that very allegation, including the opinion of the Portuguese police. And before you comment saying that the Portuguese police, they are not qualified and they did nothing, please take a moment to go through the PJ files, because all of those PJ files are the work of the Portuguese investigators, not the German investigators, not the British investigators, but the Portuguese investigators. If you have a look at the amount of documentation in the PJ files, you will realize how much work and time it took for them to collect all of those documents. And what's in the PJ files, apparently, as far as I'm aware, it's only around 80% public. So there's 20% which has not been made public in the PJ files. And this was all done by Portuguese police. Yes, Portuguese police have made some mistakes. I'm not saying they didn't, they were not perfect. However, they did a very good job overall. And so the German police, I'm going to repeat again, they cannot have evidence against Christian Bruckner for Madeleine McCann's disappearance, because if they would have had, then the Portuguese police would have arrested and locked up Christian Bruckner for Madeleine McCann's disappearance, because again we are going back to the original Portuguese investigation. Moving on to the next point from your comment. This is not to say the parents didn't do a lot wrong. They certainly are guilty of neglect. Yes, I think with that we can all agree. The only thing that I am not very happy with in terms of the way that Jerry and Kate were replying to these accusations from the public was the justification that they gave, which was the worst justification that I think I've ever heard, or excuse, like comparing Madeleine McCann being in that hotel room in a foreign country with no security in the sense of gated community or stuff like that, to her being in her bedroom at home and them having a barbecue in the back garden. There's no comparison there at all, mainly because when your child is asleep in their bedroom in your house, in your country, and you are in your garden, which is part of the land on which your house is, you are much more closer and you know for sure that your child is safe in their room sleeping. Maybe you have a baby monitor, because I think that I've read somewhere that they were using baby monitors in general. So if you have a baby monitor, it's even an added safety measure, because you can take the monitor with you in the back garden to monitor or to hear anything or to see anything if something goes wrong whilst your child is sleeping. However, in a foreign country, in a hotel room, a child sleeping on their own, in the sense that there were no adults present, only their siblings, It's such a big difference. It's such a big difference because the resort was not gated. There was no security available, or as in there was no security monitoring the resort. Then they didn't use baby monitors. They didn't use the night nanny check service. And they spent a lot of hours in the restaurant drinking their asses off when all of their children, allegedly, they were alone in their rooms, each of them having this routine, which they claim of checking on the children every half an hour. It's not the same thing, is it? It's not the same thing. Sorry, I don't agree. Next point. The German police know exactly how, when, and where she died. Will they ever be able to prove it? The investigation is still ongoing. Right. Again, I'm going to go back to the original Portuguese investigation. So for you to say that the German police know exactly how, when, and where she died, that would mean that Christian Bruckner would already have been convicted of this crime, of Madeleine McCann's death. Or he would be in the process of being convicted, as in being in court. But Christian Bruckner is not in court for this. In court, there is absolutely no mention of Madeleine McCann, unless of Madeleine McCann, apart from the prosecution side, which is trying to kind of link him to Madeleine McCann's disappearance so that they can have some kind of leverage to show that he is a predator. And so they have all these other accusations to stick. That is what's happening. The German police, they have no clue, they have no idea how, when, and where Madeleine McCann died, because realistically and legally, you cannot say that a person is dead until you have proof that a person is dead. And I am sure, because all of this Christian Bruckner business is made public all over in the media, UK and Germany and probably even Portugal, they would have made public that they found something. And just because Christian Bruckner lived there at the time does not mean that he killed Madeleine McCann. There is absolutely no evidence. The Portuguese investigation included investigating Christian Bruckner at the time, which was in 2007. So you cannot tell me that the Portuguese investigators, they found absolutely no evidence against Christian Bruckner in connection to Madeleine McCann's disappearance, but the German police found evidence all of these years later, what, in 2014? Really? How does that work? You tell me, how does it work? It doesn't make sense. There's no logic to it. And honestly, I don't think they will ever be able to prove it because there is absolutely no evidence to prove that. Because I don't think that Christian Bruckner had anything to do with Madeleine McCann's disappearance or death. And what the investigation is still ongoing, because the German police, I don't even think that they are investigating the Madeleine McCann connection in the real sense of the word, but they are more so doing it either for, in my opinion, political pressure, political connections and stuff like that, or because they want something to have against Christian Bruckner to use in court, because he is on trial. And you tell me please, what other prosecutors reveal, or investigators reveal, evidence against a person who is accused and is in a trial, in an ongoing trial? They don't typically do this because it will hinder the investigation. So it will hinder the investigation. Well, actually, I found out that there is no jury in Germany, that there are only 3 judges. So yeah, let's not talk about the jury because it doesn't apply here. But regardless, even if those 3 judges will be convinced, Christian Bruckner, if he is accused and convicted of the disappearance of Madeleine McCann, he will be convicted because he's being used as a scapegoat. That's my opinion and a lot of other people's opinions. Okay. The last point, I think, the most telling fact is the lead investigator was quoted saying if they can't convict Christian, they will close the case as he did it. Again, this whole sentence I just read, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Even if the lead investigator was quoted saying that, if he did it, right, why would they close the case and why wouldn't they convict him? And also, a police investigation and a police investigator, if they suspect someone of committing a crime, but they don't have enough evidence, they cannot say that that person did it. They can say he's a suspect, but they cannot say that he did it when there is not enough evidence to support what they are saying, because that's how the police works. I mean, the laws are very similar, you know, in all of the countries. So it's a suspect until he's proven either to be guilty or to be innocent. So again, I go back to the police investigator saying this publicly, whilst Christian Bruckner is on trial. For me, it can only mean one thing, that they are trying to do everything that they can to pin this on Bruckner so that he is accused or convicted of something, anything. And I bet you that even if he will be convicted, he won't be convicted of Madeleine McCann disappearance, but rather of the other allegations. And the Madeleine McCann angle will be what will probably convince the judges that he is guilty of the other allegations. But there won't be any, I don't think that there will be any conviction on Madeleine McCann. Okay, I think this one is the last. We should see Jerry and Kate in cuffs for neglect. They did not take enough steps to ensure the child's safety, open door, street access. I do not agree at all with these excuses. A parent's job is to protect their children. Yes, they should be in cuffs at least for neglect, but that just goes to show the connections that they have, because any other parent, if they would have done this, they would have been arrested, or even if not arrested, there would have been a police investigation into neglect accusations. Social services would 100% get involved, and the children would be taken away from them, because this is clearly neglect. The fact that nothing like this ever happened just goes to show that there are connections there. If it would be you or me or any other person who is not Kate and Jerry McCann, there would have been some kind of consequences. I am sure of it, but obviously this is just my opinion. And this is my in-depth reply to the comment, because I found it very, I found this comment very conflicting, if I'm honest with you. It's not disrespectful, and again, Rich Dot, thank you for your comment. That's okay, I can take any kind of opinions on this channel, you know, I don't mind. But it just kind of doesn't make sense, if I'm honest with you, all of those things that you mentioned in your comment. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. Stay safe. Bye.